We are live on Proline TV, the Our Lads Football Network, talking some more college football. And we're going to be talking now about the Big 12 and Arizona State. And so for the first time, we get the opportunity to speak with Arizona State insider. He is the publisher of Devil's Digest, Hod Rabino. Hod, thanks for taking your time to do this.
My pleasure, Greg. Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's get into it because this Arizona State team is coming off just an incredible season, winning the Big 12. It was just an amazing accomplishment, and now they have to do it again with everybody pointing their fingers at them, wanting revenge in a lot of circumstances. Pressure's on. But it looks like, they've got the type of team that can handle it because there's a lot of returning talent, which is, of course, huge nowadays. Matter of fact, just looking at the depth chart, and I'll be posting it here from Our Lads in just a minute. Tons of returning starters just back on defense alone and really overall. And I think that's going to count for a lot. They're my pick to repeat as Big 12 champs. So let's get right into it, Hod. What do you think is going to be the most important thing outside the obvious of replacing Cam Scatterbo for Arizona State in order for them to accomplish a second straight Big 12 championship?
First of all, you talked about the two deep. I got to give props to Our Lads because every time I research another Big 12 opponent, I always go to the Our Lads two deep, a great in use. So anybody out there that wants to get into the weeds and look at two deeps like that, Our Lads is definitely the website to go to. In terms of the returning talent, Greg, I think you really hit the nail on the head. I know there's a lot of narrative that has taken place or probably will take place about losing an All-American running back like Cam Scatterbo. And look, I mean, the guy was a generational player, easily the top probably three running backs that ever played in Arizona State with everything that he accomplished. But when you do have 80% of the roster coming back, not only on offense, but also on defense, I think that that's why the AP voters and the coaches in the coaches poll, for that matter, picked ASU number 11, the highest among any Big 12 team, because when you have a team that accomplished everything that they did last year and having so many returning players in the fold, there's no reason why Arizona State is not going to be the favorite. Now, don't get me wrong. The Big 12 is full of parity. And I think it really stands true to that conference compared to the other power conferences out there. So is it going to be an easy task? Absolutely not. But, in terms of Arizona State, I know that the low-hanging fruit aspect or burden of proof that they have is what does this offense look like without Cam Scatterbo? We know it's going to be running back by committee. We know it's going to be a challenge to replace the yards that Cam Scatterbo did leave behind. But I feel that the three running backs that they have, Kyson Brown, a returning player, Kanya Udo, a transfer from Army, somebody who rushed for over 1,000 yards for the Golden Knights, and having a guy like Raleek Brown, who sparingly played last year, but is a very, very athletic and shifty running back. Those are the three running backs that you're going to see in the backfield. Everybody brings a different flavor to the ground attack. So I think when everything does come together, I think this ground attack is going to be better than people anticipated being post Cam Scatterbo. And then you have the passing game. Sam Levitt is a preseason all Big 12. In my opinion, the best signal caller in the conference. Jordan Tyson, the primary wide receiver, had over 1,000 yards last year. And when you just have, I think, one of the best quarterback wide receiver combos in the country, that could compensate if there are going to be some issues with the running game. But I think more importantly, the cast of characters in terms of the aerial targets, whether it's a deeper wide receiver group, definitely a deeper tight end group. I think this offense is going to have a different flavor, a different look than last year. But overall, there's no reason to think of why they cannot be as productive, if not more productive than last year. And then you look at the other side of the coin on defense. And as the old saying goes, defense wins championships. And you look at that Our Lads too deep. You don't see too many names in yellow. And
Nope.
if you go to the Our Lads website on a consistent basis like I do, you know that is good news. That's a lot of returning talent.
Oh yeah,
not only starters but also in the two deep. So this defense, in my opinion, has a very good chance of being the best defense we've seen this century in Tempe. So again, if you're talking about some challenges that the offense may encounter, just because of different personnel, maybe different approach, I think this is going to be a season where the defense is definitely capable and might be called upon to bail the Sun Devils out maybe a couple games this year. So overall, I think objectively speaking, there's a lot to be excited about the 2025 versions of Arizona State.
Okay, so let's start on offense, and we might as well start at running back, because I think most people would look and see, okay, you bring in the running back from Army who had a big year, like you said, over 1,000 yards. And when you lose Scadaboo, normally people would just go, well, Udo's got to be the guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you just said it's going to be more of a committee. So
yeah,
out of the returning talent, and I know Kyson had the most yardage, but is there one of those backs just in your mind, from what you know, whether recruiting or just you've been around following these guys for a couple of years? Mm-hmm. Do you think one of these guys is capable of being the guy that they think Udo could be? And if so, who do you think that is?
Well, let's put it this way, Greg. I don't think the coaching staff is really going to ask any of those guys to be the bell cow. I don't think the coaches are really expecting Kyson Brown or Kanye Udo, for that matter, to come even close on their own, producing what Cam Scadaboo produced last year. In terms of the two deep, I think, and I'm pretty much know that Kyson Brown is going to be the first one in the pecking order in terms of running back by committee, and Kanye Udo is going to be right behind him. Raleek Brown can be that quote unquote third down back, even though he's a player that does a lot of damage on the perimeter, a lot of damage in the open field. He still can run between the tackles, quite well. I think Kyson Brown is going to be the running back that may be not so much the featured back only in short yardage or only in pass protection. I think when there's going to be short yardage situations, there's a chance you might see Kanye Udo in there more than a Kyson Brown or a Raleek Brown. Another thing you keep about Kanye Udo is that he did have a tough acclimation, did have kind of a rough spring practice, but to his credit, in fall camp, we're seeing a whole different player. And I think Kanye Udo, coming from that triple option like offense at Army, really had a lot of adjusting to do, because this is obviously a pro-style offense. So now that he has a better understanding of the offense, we've seen a very, very competent running back, and the running back that we expected to see being a 1,000-plus yard rusher. So, again, the pecking order will be Kyson Brown, Kanye Udo, Raleek Brown, and I don't expect any of the three to have a significant number of carries / yards more than the other two.
All right. And moving on, we're staying with the offense. You talked about Tyson. So I think a lot of people outside Arizona State just forget how important Tyson was and how good Tyson was last year for being such a young player. And then the injury happened. And then at that point, again, going into the big matchup, the big playoff matchup, there were a lot of people who felt, not only was it just Arizona State, Texas, but it was like, there's no Tyson. I mean, come on. I mean, there's just no way. They're just completely handcuffed. And obviously that wasn't the case, but now they get Tyson back. So I'm assuming there's big things expected from him as long as he's healthy. And then they also add in, of course, this Jalen Moss kid from Fresno State, who looks to be pretty consistent, actually. He has been over his first two seasons, pretty consistent numbers the first two, 103 receptions, 1,269 yards, and 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, Jordan Tyson showed quite a bit, both in spring practice and fall camp, that he can be that alpha dog in the passing game. There's no reason to see him slowing down or taking a step back. A lot of maturity took place also off the field for Tyson, and I think that really helped his development. The chemistry between him and Sam Levitt is only going to be better in 2025, so that's going to be a huge piece. But to your point, yes, the cast of characters around Jordan Tyson is definitely good enough that if defensive backs or defenses in general are going to pay extra attention to Tyson, don't get me wrong, he definitely rightfully commands that extra attention, then you definitely have some other wide receivers that are capable, if given one-on-one coverage, to be just as effective as Tyson. Like I said, Jalen Moss, he is going to be the slot receiver, had a solid career at Fresno State. Ironically, in 2023, when Fresno State laid the hammer on ASU 29-0 at home, Jalen Moss scored one of those touchdowns. So, he feels very comfortable on the home field for Arizona State. Malik McClain is an interesting story because he's a transfer from Penn State, came last year, did redshirt just because he had some family issues and wasn't able really to go through an entire fall camp. Okay. So he did redshirt. And if you recall, there was a new rule, which I think only went into effect last year, that if you're redshirting for a non-medical reason, you're allowed to play in the postseason. So Malik McClain was able to contribute in Jordan Tyson's absence. To your point, was able to contribute both in the Big 12 championship game and in the Peach Bowl playoff game against Texas. And in fall camp and even going back to spring, we've seen a wide receiver that is definitely capable to be quite the weapon for Sam Levitt and the Sun Devils. Okay. But the player that I really think that had an outstanding fall camp, and again, continuation of spring practice too, is Jaron Hamilton. Big battle between him and Malik McClain. Who's going to be that number 3 wide receiver? He's just a very interesting story, Greg, because he played, I think, only 6 games in 3 years at Alabama. I mean, I don't even know what kind of film the SU coaches are looking at trying to see if this player is going to be good fit for Arizona State or not. But give this coaching staff credit, and trust me, Jaron Hamilton is in a long list of players where it's proven what great talent evaluation skills this coaching staff has. They bring him to Tempe. He is a bona fide downfield threat. His nickname is Turbo, and that's Turbo with 2 O's. And he definitely has shown his worth in terms of being a wide receiver that can stretch the field. Maybe not necessarily the same toolkit that Jordan Tyson has. But again, if you're going to concentrate quite a bit on Jordan Tyson, you have a guy like Jaron Hamilton that's going to beat a lot of defensive backs in one-on-one matchups. So this whole receiver group, like I said, is deeper, more talented than it was last year. And for an already very talented quarterback like Sam Levitt, that's something that puts a huge smile on his face.
Yeah, and they also have a luxury of having a tight end that could also take another step in Shimon Mateer. So talk about that spot. They also added the kid Anderson in the transfer portal.
Shimon Mateer, he was a post-spring arrival to Arizona State. And sometimes with post-spring arrivals, and we're seeing it even this year in Tempe, it's really hard for those guys to hit the ground running in fall camp. But Shimon Mateer was one of those exceptions where he was a legitimate outlet for Sam Levitt, somebody who was well-rounded both in the blocking game and obviously in the receiving game. He's going to be the starting tight end. You mentioned the transfer from Kentucky, Kamari Anderson. And I'll tell you, Greg, Kentucky is a pretty good program, as much as I can tell, two time zones away. I don't know how that guy was not utilized more with the Wildcats, because he comes over to Tempe, just an absolute stud at tight end, complimenting Mateer quite a bit, really allowing the Arizona State staff to dabble more with 2 and even 3 tight end sets. But Kamari Anderson, to me, was the most, the biggest pleasant surprise in spring practice, and obviously has played very well in fall camp. There's another tight end who's a 4-star freshman, AJ Ia.
Okay.
For people that are versed with the high school scene in Southern California, AJ Ia played in the Trinity League, which is considered to be the best high school league in Southern California, and I would say easily top 5 across the country. And here you are, a tight end, winning the MVP of that Trinity League, which I was told was the first time ever in the history of that high school league in Southern California. 6'6", 260, so looks anything but a freshman. Not only physical enough at the line of scrimmage, but has great body control, but great awareness when he does run routes out there. So he's a number 3 tight end. And then you have Cameron Harpel, a returning player from last year who improved both his blocking and his receiving. So all in all, you got such a strong stable of tight ends over here, which again, allows the offense to get into some exotic looks. Just gives more outlets for Sam Levitt to distribute the ball if Jordan Tyson and the fellow wide receivers are covered. So when you talk about an offense that has a chance to be more explosive and definitely has a chance to provide alignments and schemes that we haven't seen last year, I think you're first and foremost point to this tight end group. Just a lot of talent, and really proved quite a bit in fall camp that this is going to be an absolute area of strength for Arizona State.
And of course, any offense overall is not going to be able to be explosive unless they have a really good offensive line to open holes and protect the passer. And that is exactly what Arizona State has. They're bringing back 4 starters, and then they add the Texas State transfer, it looks like. And is that the case? Is this kid going to wind up being the starter at left guard?
Well, that's an interesting question that you're bringing up, because a couple of days ago, Ben Coleman, the center, actually made the conversion back in spring practice from left guard to center. Did have some issues in spring practice with snapping. Seemed like he was able to get a handle of that. And then in fall camp last week, those issues kind of resurfaced. So one player who I don't know if they're listed all the way to the right, but at least not listed on this screen, is Wade Helton, redshirt freshman. Ironically, did prep in Southern California, Corona Centennial, one of the powerhouses in that area. Did choose Iowa State by a hair over Arizona State a couple of years ago when he came out of high school. And after playing with the Cyclones 1 year, and actually did redshirt, I should say, he did decide to transfer to Arizona State with his twin brother Brent. So Wade Helton, actually just a couple of days ago, for the first time, was getting first team reps at center, which actually moved Ben Coleman to his old role of left guard. And by the way, I should say the Texas State transfer Jameto Obigbo was listed at left guard here on the screen. He actually did perform really well, but for the coaches, it's simply finding the best 5 and really trying to still go through the decision process, which you're going through as we speak. Is Ben Coleman better suited at center or actually suited at left guard? But any way you slice it, there are going to be 4 returning starters on this offensive line. So again, when folks are wondering how's this running game going to look like without Cam Scadaboo, I think Cam Scadaboo will be the first one to tell you that offensive line was a big part of his success last year. And when you have 4 returning starters from that group, there's no reason to think that the other running backs on the roster these days cannot be successful as well. So really the only question mark that exists on the offense, and really I would say on the entire team, looking at starter roles, is it going to be Wade Helton, the redshirt freshman, the transfer from Iowa State, or is it going to be Ben Coleman, which really was the plan when fall camp began?
Well, this is exactly why we love having you on to talk about Arizona State, so we can make these adjustments on the depth chart, and also just educate us as best you can to give us the best information possible to make observations the way we need to. So awesome job there, Hod. Let's now move on to the defense. And again, it looks like almost everybody is returning as far as holdovers from last year. I see a lot of seniors there, juniors, upperclassmen, left and right. Even the transfer, Breedlove, is a senior too. So this is a very experienced defense. Do they have and just looking at the defense overall, I know they have a good defensive tackle, a good linebacker in Elliott, 2 good safeties, but is there a standout guy? Is there someone that's like the face of the defense?
Well, I mean, I think you would really have a couple of faces, if you will. Justin Watley, who's listed as a backup defensive end, he's having an outstanding fall camp. I wouldn't be shocked if he would actually replace Prince Dorba as a first teamer. I'm not saying this is set in stone, but we definitely are starting to see that more and more, and rightfully so. He's somebody who lost 15 pounds from last year. Still was able to maintain his brawn, but now he has a more of an athletic component to him. And he was a transfer from Cincinnati last year. And he's somebody that is listed by the way at 260 now, not 275, but nonetheless is a defensive end that has performed quite well. And Clayton Smith, the starting defensive end, was able to gain 15 pounds from last year. And if there wasn't Achilles' heel for this defense, which again was an outstanding unit even last year, was actually number one against the run in the Big 12. And anybody following the Big 12 knows that one thing that really characterizes that league is the stud running backs up and down each and every roster in that conference. So this wasn't a bad defensive line by any means, but in terms of pass rush, that at times really left quite a bit to be desired.
Okay.
So Clayton Smith and maybe Justin Watley or Prince Dorba as the starting defensive ends. That is a very, very, very good unit over there. Right. And to your point, Greg, you look at the two deep, forget about the starters, senior, all over the place. So this defensive end group, its entire two deep, no matter who's going to start, who's going to come off the bench, are all seniors. So just to have that level of experience is worth its weight in gold. You talked about very good defensive tackle in CJ Fight, a player that ironically decommitted when the coaching change did take place. It's because he didn't know Kenny Dillingham and his staff, and he actually recommitted after he was convinced by the coaching staff that Arizona State was a place for him. And I'm sure CJ Fight will be the first one to tell you what a great decision it was for him. Again, you're talking about in 2024, the top defense against the run. CJ Fight was absolutely leading the charge in that department. When you talk linebackers, Keyshawn Elliott, but more importantly, I would say also Jordan Crook, a transfer from Arkansas. Somebody who started the season injured. Took him a little while to get into the thick of things. But I would say in the second half of the year, I don't know if there was any better player on either side of the ball than Jordan Crook. So he's complimenting Keyshawn Elliott quite a bit. Maybe one of the faces on the defense is free safety Xavier Alford, somebody who played at Texas, played at USC, was a transfer actually back in 2023. And if you remember that whole controversy about players that thought they had the immediate eligibility, and the NCAA came in last minute, just weeks before the season started, and did not allow players like Xavier Alford to be immediately eligible. To his credit, he didn't pout, he didn't transfer, he just waited his turn, and the guy's an absolute asset in the defensive backfield for Arizona State. So really, the only starter that was lost is Shamari Simmons, the nickelback from last year. Kendrick Breedlove, according to your two deep, and I would agree, he is probably the clubhouse leader to be the starting nickel. He's a transfer from Purdue, and was able to have a very strong fall camp to date. So I think that he is in a great position to be the starting nickel. He's going to battle with Montana Warren. We have listed at free safety, and Montana Warren really can play all three safety positions, including nickelback. But he's somebody that's still battling quite a bit with Kendrick Breedlove. So again, there's just so much experience coming back on this defense that I expect them to really be able, in terms of the football IQ perspective, really to throw a lot of wrinkles at offenses out there. And this is one group that when you talk about ASU having a great chance repeating as Big 12 champions, to me, this might be even a bigger reason than the offense itself, because there's really no substitute for experience, especially when you have so much talented experience coming back. And again, you look at this defense, just up and down the roster, there's a lot to be excited about.
Do they have a shutdown corner? Do they have a guy that they say, okay, we're facing a really good receiver here this week, this guy has to be on that guy?
Yeah, I mean, I think that both corners are really capable of being shutdown corners, like Keith Abney II and Javon Robinson. I think they proved quite a bit, again, without the luxury of having a stellar pass rush on the front line to play really, really well. Now, sure, we can look at the defensive statistics. Yes, ASU was not ranked as high in passing defense as they were in run defense, but that's simply because teams just could not run on Arizona State.
Yeah.
And really, I don't think any of the losses for the Sun Devils, you can really pin it on poor secondary play. So I think that Keith Abney and Javon Robinson equally can be shut down corners and play really, really well. When you look at huge games that ASU had against BYU, Javon Robinson, the fourth quarter interception sealed the game with that play. When you look at the third quarter against Iowa State in the Big 12 championship game, that was a quarter where ASU had 3 turnovers on defense, and all 3 turnovers were converted to 2 touchdowns. Keith Avenue was in on one of those turnovers, having an interception. So you have talented cornerbacks that definitely know when to come up in big games. So again, when you talk about just a very talented defense, the cornerbacks are hardly the Achilles heel of this group.
And then just want to also point out that Jesus Gomez is another transfer that is going to, it looks like he's going to be the starting place kicker. And he had a very good year last year, I believe, at Eastern Michigan. I think he was like, he had second team, I believe, maybe, Mac?
I believe so. And here's a crazy story for you, Greg. The game that basically caused Herm Edwards to be fired was an upset loss at home by the hands of Eastern Michigan.
Yes.
Okay.
I remember that one. Yes.
The score was 30-21. 9-point difference. Okay. I don't even have to tell you who was the player that night for Eastern Michigan that made all 3 of his three field goal attempts.
Okay.
And ironically, those were the first 3 ever field goal attempts made in his collegiate career for Jesus Gomez. So
very nice.
You talking about something coming full circle and then some. But Jesus Gomez has been an absolute stud. Again, you can go look all the way back in spring practice, in fall camp. Nothing different. Already nailed 2 field goals from 55 yards out in fall camp, and with many yards to spare. Anybody who followed Arizona State knows that if there was a sore subject, if there was a clear shortcoming on this team, it was the place kicking. It was the field goal kicking. Jesus Gomez has addressed those concerns and then some. Just an absolute key transfer for Arizona State. But really, just to look at the whole special teams group, Cannon Floyd is a returning starter at punter, and whenever you want to look for that to see that jump from freshman to sophomore year, really materialize. Cannon Floyd has definitely exemplified that theory. Matt McKenzie, the backup punter, is an interesting name. He's actually a freshman from Australia. Never played American football.
Australia, of course.
Yeah. Now he's not a one-trick pony. He's not only the rollout punter. He can also punt American football style, quote unquote. But I think he's been doing a great job really pushing Cannon Floyd. But both punters have looked very good in fall camp. Then you have a returner, and both Raleek Brown, I mentioned earlier, and Jalen Moss, who was, I believe, in All Mountain West punt returner last year for Fresno State. So even the return capabilities for Arizona State have improved quite a bit. So, any ASU fan you would ask out there, they loved the offense last year. They loved the defense last year. When it comes to special teams, that Fran was not being turned upside down. Just because it really left a lot to be desired. There were a lot of issues on special teams, but I don't think that's going to be the case at all. So again, when you look at an improved Arizona State team in 2025, when you look at a team that has an excellent chance to repeat, sure, you can look at a lot of experience on offense and defense, but also look at a much improved special teams. Head coach Kenny Dillingham said many times during fall camp that this special teams is literally night and day better than it was in 2024.
I know we have about 5 minutes, so I do want to ask you though, because I get why you'd want to have all of this returning talent, and that's great. Are you surprised at all that if maybe the team could have used more edge rushers, that they didn't go out and bring in a transfer edge rusher? What was the thought process there? Because, and look, I've been saying this for years, that if they could find a really good head coach at Arizona State, I think it's one of those like hidden gem locations to recruit players from. It's just forget it regarding the scenery, and I'm also talking about the girls. There's young boys, man. What are you going to say? Young men. But it's an easy recruiting tool. So I believe if Dillingham, knowing that this is his place as it is, that maybe he's a lifer here, which would be awesome for the university. But getting back to the recruiting there, was that something that they tried to do, or was it just something that they just didn't feel comfortable with?
Look, I think this is a staff that does not bring in warm bodies just for the sake of bringing in a warm body. They've been very content with the experience and talent that they had coming back on the defensive line, to your point. And I think they've been rewarded with that trust that they put in on those returning players, because pass rush has definitely been better in fall camp than we've seen last year. I think this is also a staff that prides itself in great talent evaluation. And if they felt that they wanted to bring a lower number of transfers, because they had over 30 transfers in the first 2 years of Kenny Dillingham. If it wasn't for Colorado, they'd probably be tops in the nation at least 1 year. So I think that's something that they wanted to bring a lower number of transfers. Really put the trust in the returning players. They take a lot of pride in not being the school that pays out an NIL and with ridiculous levels. But on the other hand, when they have such a high roster retention, obviously there's something to be said about the team culture, the chemistry,
absolutely,
the comfort level that the players the players have with the coaches, and vice versa. So really, I think that it just all comes together, and you just can't argue the fact that they didn't bring a stud edge rusher, whether it's because of NIL or just because they couldn't find the right fit. And the defensive ends have played quite well. You look at all the transfers that they brought in. I just mentioned a couple of names earlier in our interview. Jaron Hamilton, Jesus Gomez, Kanye Udo. So it's really quality over quantity. So I think this coaching staff has definitely earned the benefit of the doubt.
100%.
Just really hitting all the right buttons when it comes to retaining players, when it comes to seeking out players in the transfer portal. Sure. I mean, until the games are played, you never know if the decision is going to be the right or the wrong one. But if you're looking at the early returns of fall camp, I think in terms of players they retained, in terms of players that they brought in as transfers, they definitely have a lot many bullseyes than they have whiffs.
Okay, two more things I want to get to. I want to, first of all, ask you to give me a breakout player for both sides of the ball. Somebody that was a holdover from last year's team that you think is going to take that next step. And I know you've already talked about a couple of guys like Wadley at edge. So give me a player on offense and defense that you think could be a breakout player. Justin Wadley. I mean, right now I think it's just too easy of a selection. On defense. Time will tell if it's actually going to be just an every Saturday starter or just be first man off the bench at defensive end. But the full camp that he's having, it's just hard for him to see not playing at a high level in 2025. So that would be my breakout player on defense. And don't get me wrong. I mean, it's not like he was, chopped liver in 2024, but in 2025, he's ready to take it to the next level. On offense, a player that I mentioned, wide receiver Malik McLean, again, did redshirt for non-medical reasons, was able to play in the postseason, and I think showed more than a couple flashes there. Strong spring, strong fall camp, is having a very talented wide receiver, Jaron Hamilton, breathing down his neck and then some, and he's still able to hold his own. He's still able to be a great outlet for Sam Levitt. So if I had to pick a breakout player on offense, Malik McLean in terms of a returning player would definitely be my selection. Okay, now I want to go over the let's see, let's pop in the schedule here. The win total is 8.5 for Arizona State, which I think is kind of low and disrespectful. So I think that's but again, we got to take a look at the schedule, and I know they do have some tough road games. They get revenge at Mississippi State, SEC team early on. Texas State, of course, we know how good they've been. Lower level, group of five, but still nothing easy. And then you got these road games. You got Baylor, you got Utah, you got Iowa State, you got Colorado. So yeah, talk about and then these other home games: TCU, Texas Tech. So and then of course the rival game at the end of the season. So I get it. Maybe that's the reason that Vegas believes it should be where it is. Mm-hmm. But I still think it's a team that I'd be surprised if they didn't figure out a way to win 9 at the very least, if not 10 this year.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I would pick the over at 10 wins. You know, if you put the proverbial gun to my head and tell me, okay, Hod, which of the 2 games they're going to lose, I would probably say at Iowa State. You know, beginning of November, weather can get a little ugly over there for the.
That's true.
for the thin-blooded Sun Devils here in the desert. So that could be one game. That could be a very, very tough one. Utah's an interesting team. I'm not as high on them as a lot of other pundits are, but I know they're going to be a very, very tough out. Mm-hmm. And in recent years, ASU has not had the greatest history in Salt Lake City. So
okay,
ASU has 7 home games, and they were undefeated last year at home. And look at the home schedule. I'm not saying it's a cakewalk, but I just feel like the tougher games might exist on the road. And Baylor,
yes,
Baylor's another one. A team that didn't beat the big dogs in the Big 12, but did finish the regular season on a 6-game winning streak. So kind of like Utah, they're kind of like the darling of the Big 12. The black sheep that could really sneak up on anybody. So. Maybe that second loss comes out either at Baylor or comes at Utah. But again, I just feel that ASU at home is really, really a tough team to beat, and they proved that last year. I mean, not every game was a blowout in Tempe. Don't get me wrong, but when they needed that home juice from the crowd to win more than a game or two, a close game in Tempe, they were able to do that. So I think they're able to do that. But if you ask me, I believe carbon copy of 2024, finishing the regular season 10-2 and making a repeat appearance in the Big 12 championship game, at least in my opinion, that is a realistic scenario.
All right. And then who the heck knows who it'll be up against, because this is a wide open
parity.
Oh, yeah. And I think it actually could go all the way down even to right around this area. Just like last year, I think there could be a team like Arizona State where they were projected that could be a lot better than people think. And who knows, maybe their counterparts, Arizona, could pull it off this year.
And don't forget, Greg, the Sun Devils broke the system because there was no media preseason poll in the Big 12 because of what happened last year with ASU.
Yeah, so we'll see if we get some more of that this year. But look, it's really a great story, especially a program like this. This is what college football fans really love to see. We're all sick of the same teams all the time, so it's nice to see programs like Arizona State. Like I said, I still believe it. I really do, and I'm sure Arizona State fans are hoping that. And my last question before I let you go then is: do you think that Arizona State has the ability to keep Dillingham happy at Arizona State for quite a long time?
Look, I mean, you don't take anything for granted, and you never say never in this crazy world of college football, but Kenny Dillingham is born and raised in the Valley of the Sun. Kenny Dillingham is an Arizona State alumnus. All you have to look at is his halftime speech in the Territorial Cup against Arizona in Tucson. I've never seen any coach talk that way. And there have been plenty of fiery coaches in the 20, 25 years that I've been covering the team. But when you have an alumnus as a head coach, it just hits differently. And I think fans of and beat writers of other teams would really tell you the same. So I think Kenny Dillingham is going to be at ASU for a long, long time. His family is here. His wife's family is here. And he just want to be in a flash in the pan. He said many times, I know that the Phoenix Metropolitan is a bandwagon town. And sure, we produced a winner last year. I mean, heck, he said, I never got so many compliments after a loss than that Peach Bowl loss to Texas. So there's a lot of buzz. ASU was able to sell 75 new season tickets this year, which in this neck of the woods is really unheard of. But Kenny Dillingham wants to sustain it. Kenny Dillingham wants to make sure that this was not a one-year wonder. So that's why I think that if we're sitting here, God willing, in 10 years, still doing this, and and talking about, 10, would it be like his 13th year head coach Kenny Dillingham
Yeah.
at the helm of the Sun Devils. I'm not gonna be floored or knocked off my chair even uttering those words, because I know how much this program means to him. I know how much this Metropolitan means to him. He coined the term that a lot of people already, I think, across the nation know, activate the Valley. And again, it just hits differently when somebody is born and raised in Arizona State's backyard and is an alumnus of the school to boot. So that's why I think Kenny Dillingham is going to be here for many years to come. I'm not saying that if he doesn't continue to be successful as he is,
Sure,
that they're not going to be, SEC money trucks backing up to his front porch, offering double, maybe triple the money that Arizona State is paying right now, which is a pretty penny too. I mean,
sure.
let's be fair. But I think Kenny Dillingham is here to stay. And I know it's really easy to be cynical in this world of college football these days. But again, you don't have a lot of alumnus out there that are head coaches. And for the people that do follow programs that do have head coach of this alumnus, they know that they're not itching to leave the alma mater anytime soon.
Well, Arizona State's also 100-1 to win the national championship. So, look, they got a veteran team. They got a quarterback. They had the taste of the playoffs last year. So I've seen crazier things, and I think they are going to be a quality team this year, and I think they're going to be a dangerous playoff team this year as well. So I hope we get the opportunity to talk during the season as well, Hod, especially since this has the making of a really fun season. And in the meanwhile, we'll have links in the description of this video that every viewer can check out, follow you, and follow Arizona State football this season. So I appreciate you doing this with us for the first time.
My pleasure, Greg. And like I said, I have a lot of respect to our lads and your two deep charts over there. And definitely look forward to talking to you later this season.
Awesome. Thanks, Hod.
Thank you, Greg.
You got it. All right. Hod Rabino, who's headed to practice this evening for Arizona State football. We thank him very much for joining us here on the Our-Lads Football Network, Proline TV. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the like, all that kind of cool stuff. And then we'll be back again tomorrow, Friday. We still have some more really cool interviews to go over, some more college football talk, NFL talk, and much more right here on Proline TV, the Our-Lads Football Network. So for Hod Rabino and Greg DePalma, thanks for tuning in here as we talk Arizona State football.